Hey folks, Malforian here, and today we're going to be covering the latest dev diary for Millennia, which is all about national spirits. One of the subjects I think we've all been waiting for to be covered by the dev diaries, because there's a lot of interesting information in here, and it really showcases how the game is built around making a nation yours, and not being kind of like pigeonholed into playing certain nations in certain ways. And they're going to cover all of that in today's dev diary. So we're just going to get straight into it. And the first thing here is, what are the roles of national spirits? So the concept of player authorship is central to a lot of the design in Millennia, and the national spirit system does some of the heavy lifting to support that goal. As they've covered in previous dev diaries, they really are trying to make the game play how you want to play, or maybe not exactly how you want to play. Maybe something happens and you kind of push down a different route, but it feels like you have a little bit more control over what you're doing maybe. And you can play your favorite nation if you're playing as Spain, which they'll cover later, or if you're playing as England or America or something. You can play the game however you want. It's not like Civilization where you're kind of forced into a certain path or not to get the maximum out of playing that nation. In this, you can basically play any nation how you want. And then they're just going to talk about ages here, which we covered in the last dev diary. They changed the baseline rules of the world, alter units, technologies, goods, capital buildings, provide a way for the world to change for all the nations involved based on the direction they steer history, whereas national spirits are all about, focusing on your nation. It only affects you. Well, it affects everyone else, because obviously the decisions you make, if you go very, aggressive, it's obviously going to affect other people, but the actual changes you make only affect your nation, whereas the age system affects everyone on the world and, is kind of game-wide. And this is more about specializing your specific nation. So national spirits are similar in that, like ages, they provide new and different tools to the players. These are more focused on one nation deciding to face the challenges presented in the world that all nations are in together. They like the idea of players getting to decide what the nation is about, and they think it makes sense that nations can develop differently when history moves a different direction. So again, as I was saying, you can kind of, plan to go one way, but if the ages that somebody else has chosen maybe don't really mesh with how you're playing your nation, you can kind of splinter off with a national spirit and try go a different route. You're not kind of like railroaded into continuing a certain direction if you need to make those changes. And then this next section here, they're just going to talk about, they have been doing some play testing, obviously, of the game, seeing what's working, see what isn't working and things like that. And they actually say here, the playtesters came in expecting it to be like pre-made nations, as I said, like Civ, where it's like, if you play as England, you're really good at seafaring, you're good at trade maybe, and, those kind of bonuses. You have colony bonuses. Whereas Millennia, it was a bit of a surprise to the playtesters that, like, being Spain, you're not really good at mining gold or something like historical thing that Spain was good at. It is actually more just a cosmetic thing. The actual nations you play as are really just a cosmetic, like, cover over your version of that nation. It doesn't really make that much difference who you play as. It does have cosmetic elements. Obviously, they look a little bit different, and they do have some minor starting bonuses. They really are minor, though. There's nothing too crazy in there that's game-changing. And then everything outside of that is basically how you build your version of Spain in this playthrough. And as I've said in previous Dev Diary coverage, I think that's what's going to make this game so replayable, is that you're not kind of like railroaded, as I said before, into these different play styles. I can play as a cultural Spain, a warlike Spain. I can just focus on technology. I can play it however I want and, get some enjoyment out of it and not be forced into a certain type of game style. And then as they show here, these are the quick start options. So your start bonus, as they say, you can pick whatever you want, whoever you are. Start with a scout unit, have more production, have more influence, have some unrest suppression, all of that. And as you can see, you then pick your nation after you pick the bonus, and then you pick your difficulty after that. I think that's kind of like a subtle thing. I think if you had nation first, prejudge who you want to play as maybe. You pick your bonus first and then pick your nation. I think for a new player, it's going to like subconsciously push this idea of you aren't who you play, you make who you play, if that makes sense. You're making your nation, you're not playing a pre-done nation. I think that's a really good subtle way to do it. I actually really like how that works. And then as they say, where you take your Spain as history unfolds, and the decisions you make about how you approach things will make your nation play very differently from another version of Spain that somebody else is playing, or as I said, in a previous campaign that you've done. And again, that's why I think it makes it so replayable. And then the basic structure of national spirits. National spirits are grouped into 4 sets based on the age that they become available: 2, 4, 6, and 8. As soon as a nation enters an age where a national spirit choice is available, They can make the selection from the corresponding set, and there is no cost. Only one national spirit can be selected in each age when they are available. So a nation ends the game with 4 spirits. Again, you can mix and match these however you want. Obviously, I think some of them make sense combined with other ones, as we've discussed previously. But, you can mix and match them. You can't pick them all or anything. So you are playing these different ways as you continue to do new campaigns and stuff like that. And the national spirits available are not exclusive. More than one nation can have the same national spirit. However, national spirits that have not been selected gain a bonus when other spirits are adopted, meaning the less popular options are offset by additional rewards. Oh, that's actually a really cool system. So yeah, I mean, I guess if everyone's picking, in this example here, warriors, picking one of these other options will actually give you a bonus for like diversifying from what everyone else in the game is playing. I actually really like that system. I wouldn't have thought about that myself. I know I say that most times in these dev diaries for Millennia. I think it's because there's so many slightly different systems in this game that there's just options that kind of present themselves that maybe wouldn't fit into other games. I really like that it kind of not pushes you to play differently to everyone else, but there are those bonuses if you're like, well, between these two, and then if there's a bonus for one of them, you might be like, okay, I'm going to take warriors because I get 15 more or something like that. You get some kind of bonus for picking one that other people aren't playing as. I'm not sure if in multiplayer it'll work that much. I'm sure everyone will just min-max the best one, but I think playing against the computer and you're just trying to play different strategies and stuff, it's going to be a nice thing to pick things that you might not usually play as. All national spirits are associated with a domain, with the exception of government, so exploration, warfare, engineering, diplomacy, and the arts, which again they've covered in a previous dev diary. Governments are their own unique system, and there is no government national spirits. It wouldn't really make sense, would it, if there was one, because there's only a certain amount of government types you can be, and it'd be a bit weird if they were national spirits. So I can see why they haven't used them. In addition to the content offered by national spirits, selecting one also causes a nation to earn additional domain XP in the related domain. If you take a warfare domain spirit in Age 2, say Raiders, you will earn additional warfare XP every turn. So again, specializing your nation how you want to play it, getting that additional XP for the domain XP, and then that's going to allow you to get more warfare stuff in the other systems in the game, which I believe was in the last dev diary. Maybe it was the one before where they talked about domain XP and how all that works. So if you're unsure how that is, I've got a playlist on the channel. You can watch through all the previous dev diaries and catch up with that. This can change the way you think about a national spirit selection in certain circumstances. Usually you're focused on what the national spirit itself has to offer, but on occasion, the extra domain XP each turn or the bonus domain XP for picking a less popular national spirit can enable different strategies. So again, kind of helping you diversify from what you might want to do. There might be this other path that might help you as well. Maybe you're focusing on, high culture, but you need a little bit more warfare XP. So you might pick one national spirit that's warfare focused just to get that like ticking XP in an area of the game that you're not doing. If you're not doing battles, you're not getting much warfare XP. Maybe you haven't got many warfare buildings, and you could pick a national spirit that doesn't fit your general gameplay, but it is ticking over then with some warfare XP, so you can pick up some of those warfare bonuses as well. So again, I really like how that's going to work. Once selected, each national spirit presents a set of bonuses called ideals, and as you can see on the screen at the moment, there are several ideals in a national spirit organized into tiers. You must unlock at least one ideal of a lower tier to gain access to the next tier. Ideals have a cost in domain XP of the nation's spirit domain. So Raiders, as mentioned above, a warfare domain national spirit, it has ideals with warfare XP costs. So you can get through them quicker if you're focused on that kind of gameplay. Again, everything kind of synergizes together in a cool way, I think. And then if we take a look at this, as you can see, this is the Raiders national spirit. So you can create some Raiders. You can have additional warfare XP from combat. So again, if you're playing warfare, you're getting more and more warfare XP. Raider bands require no upkeep, saving you currency and stuff then. Gain additional gold when raising improvements. So, you're raiding, you're getting more bonuses from raiding. Fantastic. Night March, Raider bands gain increased movements. They can move around the map faster. Again, that's just going to help you raid things more and more. And then we got Pillage. Raider bands are more effective against towns. So you're getting more and more stuff back from raiding those town improvements. Victor's unit heals a small amount after winning a combat. I mean, that just sounds great. You can just keep raiding because you're not having to bring them home to heal. And then the last one is Legacy. Social fabric points from the Raiders Legacy. So there you go. That's like your bonus for unlocking all the rest. This is actually a cool system. This is one, if you watch my Crusader Kings 3 videos, I've always said I believe the legacy system in Crusader Kings 3 should have this, like a cap bonus, where if you fill out the whole tree, you get this additional bonus for doing so. I don't think they've talked about social fabric points, so I'm not 100% sure what they are, but as they're like the bonus legacy for being a raider, I imagine they're pretty good. So we'll see in the future what that gives. And in fact, that's actually what they're going to talk about now. So the final tier of each national spirit is a special ideal called a legacy. Legacies are cheap and they only cost 1 domain XP. So basically, for getting to the end, you basically unlock it. But they have a requirement related to the national spirit. For example, Theologians, an Age 4 national spirit, has a legacy that unlocks when you achieve 40 population following your state religion. Legacies reward social fabric points and one of the easier ways to get these, so they are quite valuable. So there we go. That's why it only costs 1 warfare XP, because there are other requirements to unlock it. Can we see what it is? I don't think we do. No, it doesn't zoom in that well, does it? So, oh wait, no, you have to have 10 raiders. There we go. It's very zoomed in then, but yeah, you have to have 10 raider units and 1 warfare XP, and that's how you unlock the legacy of raiding. So again, pretty cool. I like how that works. It's a cool thing to kind of get a reward for finishing everything else. And as you can see with this example, you would have probably 10 raider units, I guess, if you're doing all this previous stuff. And then you earn that like legacy of being a raider as a nation. And then next, they're actually going to go over the Khan's national spirit in a bit of detail. So this is cool. We're going to get a breakdown of exactly how this one works. Let's just get straight into it. An easy way to think of national spirits at a conceptual level is kind of a reputation, what a nation is known for. And I think that leads into that previous example with raiders. If you finish that out, you're going to be known as a raiding nation by the AI of the game, I guess, you know, or at least to yourself in the story you're telling of your nation. You'll be like, look, we were raiders as a national spirit in the early days of the game, maybe. And then you could split out into something else. And that is kind of what your nation is known for in the world. As they say here, common examples they use to illustrate this are things like Spartan warriors, Swiss banking, the Silicon Valley, or Egyptian pyramids. These are all things that I guess conjure the thing in your mind of like Silicon Valley, oh, that's American, you know, technology, or Spartan warriors, that's Greece and Sparta. You know, that's kind of like what they're basing the system around, those kind of ideas. So as the example suggests, that means national spirits are substantial. What you select will have a lot of impact on your strategy, as ideals provide major bonuses and unique capabilities. The design here is less your stuff is a little better than everyone else's, and more you're the only one that has all of this. And again, that really feeds into everything we've been talking about in this dev diary and in the previous ones about really making these decisions different and really making them feel like major decisions in your nation, and like how differently it's going to make you play the game. Especially if you fill out these national spirits, you're going to play so much differently than if you don't fill them out. It's going to be really interesting to see exactly how different it plays, but from what we've seen so far, I think it is going to make substantial difference to how you play it. So in general, national spirits provide ideals that have a value in different spans. Things that are only good in the era when you first get your national spirit, things that can be valuable for a little bit longer, and things that have utility for the remainder of the game. However, there is some shifting there, with certain national spirits that are strong now and only now, and others are more useful in the future. I like this. It's more and more layers into this system of, do you want a bonus now? Maybe you're thinking, look, I can finish everyone off. I'm going to take the Khan's national spirit and just try and win the game. Or maybe you're not sure you can win. You're going to take one of these national spirits that have a long-term benefit, and you're thinking, you know, long-term, you're trying to get to that space race or something, and you're going to be having a good time in the future. And again, you can kind of change how it plays out depending on what ages happen and things like that. Especially if you're not in the lead, you can adapt to things as you play through. The one they're going to look to, as they said before, is the Khan's. Khan's is an Age 4 warfare domain national spirit. Thematically, this national spirit allows you to pursue a direction inspired by the Mongol Empire. Pretty obvious that that's the case. You want to unleash your own Genghis Khan on the world. As soon as Khan's is selected, it spawns a special unit, the Khan. Your Khan is powerful with a high tactics score and is free and instant, but only around for 50 turns, so make that time count. I mean, I guess if you're planning to use this, as you're coming up to the 4th age of the game, you probably want to be thinking like, okay, let's start building my army up. I want to get as many units as I can, because as soon as I press the Khan option, it's going to spawn a Khan for me, and then I've got 50 turns to get the most out of him that I can. And, you know, then you can go on a bit of a Mongol rampage around the world. So here we go. This is the Khan one. So yeah, get the Khan. Barbarians are no longer hostile. I mean, that's going to be a pretty nice bonus. Horseback archery spawns horse archers in your homeland. You're going to be able to quickly move around the world. You could probably combine this with raiders as well. You could, you know, mix and match this a little bit and have a good time. And then next we've got Inside Conflict. This spawns a barbarian next to an enemy settlement, so that's pretty cool. A little bit of distraction if you're trying to do something else. Uniter of Tribe. The Khan can convert an adjacent barbarian camp into horse archers, so again, getting some units for free in a way. Kashik. The Khan is stronger and can spawn horse archers. There's a lot of horse archers. Oh, and the next one is as well. Composite bows. Horse archers are more dangerous in combat. They gain +4 attack and +4 defense. Call to War spawns horse archers, obviously, in each friendly region. So if you have a lot of regions, you're getting a lot of horse archers for free with that one. And then the Legacy of Khans, that again gives you social fabric points, and you need 10 horse archers to get that, and 1 XP, obviously, to unlock it as well. So yeah, you're going to be having a lot of horse archers. You're going to be able to go pillaging and going crazy, I would imagine, and really try expand your realm. And then, as they said, the next one, you might, chill out a bit, because Khans really looks like instant now. I want to do stuff now. I want to expand. And it's a little bit less long-term benefit, except for, you've taken all that land and got all the bonuses from having additional land, additional resources, and settlements, and all that cool stuff. So, it is a now national spirit, but it does give you long-term ones that aren't, like, directly from the spirit itself, but from the outcome of what you do with it. So, and then here, they're basically just going to explain what we've just gone through, what the different bonuses are and things like that. So there's no need to go through that again. As I said, it's all about getting horse archers and then going crazy with horse archers. So collectively, the intent is to deliver a Genghis Khan experience. You have a powerful and unique military leader. You have a feel of uniting tribes. Your armies are different from the other armies of the era. You can move quickly and push militarily. Don't have the most powerful units of the era, but they're strong if you can get a lot of them. So I'd imagine, spearmen and things will counter the horse archers. But if you have so many horse archers, you could probably pick off units so quickly. Coming in, archer, they're dead. Okay, on to the next unit, and kind of steamroll through the map a little bit. And then obviously every time you're fighting, you're earning more of the martial domain, and then you can use that to unlock more of these. So, it's a good time all around playing as a Genghis Khan. So that one looks really cool. I like how it shows the different ways you can get bonuses and stuff like that. And then there we go. That's the end of the Dev Diary this week. Just saying thanks for tuning in, and I will echo that sentiment as well. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new here. I cover Dev Diaries news, do campaigns and live streams on historical strategy games, a lot of Crusader Kings and things like that on the channel. And yeah, I'll see you in the next Dev Diary. They don't say what it is, but I'm sure it'll be something interesting again when we come back to Millennia. But that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one.